name's Chris Hills. I'm with Stealth Concealment Solutions, and we fabricate, engineer, and install, on some occasions, cell site concealments. What that consists of is ways to make a traditional cell site more appealing from an aesthetic standpoint, so that it's put into neighborhoods and areas where you don't want to see that big 150-foot steel structure, but yet the NIMBYs, everybody wants to use their cell phone in their backyard. So that's what we do. We help the carriers build cell sites. Stealth is primarily a company that hides cell sites. And what that means is we take conventional cell towers and build a aesthetically pleasing solution that will better fit into the landscaping of a neighborhood or maybe even an industrial area where people want to use their cell phones in their backyard, but yet they don't want to see the big tower, the big ugly steel tower with the antennas hanging off of them in their neighborhoods. So that's what we do. We basically conceal cell towers.
How old's the company?
This is Stealth's 20th year in business. We actually started the whole concealment concept back in 1992 and have grown to be about 50 employees strong now. We boast of the highest RF transparency in the industry, meaning our material has less of an effect on the RF side of the signal. So on the cell site side of the construction, you can always turn the power up to blast through material, but it's the uplink, the little cell phone that you use, which struggles with transmitting through that material that's not as RF transparent as ours. So we can actually have the best performance in the industry. One of the key advantages that Stealth has over our competitors is we have a nationwide sales force. So we utilize a network of manufacturers' reps. So as opposed to most all of our competitors, they're regional companies. We have some in California, we have some in the Northeast, but no one can service the wireless industry like we can from a nationwide standpoint. We have people on the street in Chicago, Kansas City, St. Louis, and when there's a site walk that's scheduled maybe next day, we can put a guy on site relatively quickly, as opposed to our competitors would have to fly somebody in if they have someone that can jump on a plane immediately. Most times they don't. So that's one of our biggest advantages, that we react very, very quickly. I'm comparing a traditional monopole with a tree pole. Flagpole, not so much, probably in the neighborhood of 15%. Concealments have evolved over the last 20 years. It started out with the real rudimentary flagpole, occasional tree. Nowadays we're getting to more complex solutions. For example, we're doing cacti, we're doing boulders, we're doing some indoor stuff like flower pots and urns. And as the whole new DAS evolution comes along, and small cells is the buzzword now, you're going to need ways to hide these antennas even on the inside. Because, for examples, in stadiums, some of these old stadiums that are 100 years old, they're basically a hole in the ground where they poured cement and bleachers, and you have vomitories coming out to them, and that's it. You're very limited on where you can put those, and a lot of these stadiums only allow us to put them over the vomitories or sign markers, section markers, things of that nature. So that's kind of evolved here of late with the DAS systems. The industry has matured because of the demand of concealment, largely to the internet. When we first started building cell site concealments back in the early 90s, the internet wasn't that prevalent. So your city planner or your city councilman really didn't know it was available. And the carriers certainly aren't going around saying, can I put up this 50-foot or this 150-foot monopole, or would you like for me to put up this 150-foot tree? No, they're going to go with the most easy, most cost-effective solution and not educate. Well, the internet has done that for us, and we're seeing a lot of demand from even rural municipalities saying, well, I saw on the internet where you can build a water tank. That Petticoat Junction looking water tank, we want one of those in our community. These cell sites are coming down as far as geographical height and geographical coverage. You're going to need more sites, and you're going to need more of them in residential areas, because in 5 years from now, the next generation is not going to pick up a phone to call somebody. He's going to pick up his iPad 10 and make a video chat with his friend. Look at the data use on that. That's how they're going to communicate. So we're going to need more and more of these sites. They're all going to be shorter, and more of them's going to have to be concealed than ever. I think we're in a great position. I think the industry in the whole is in a great position. As you heard, or may not have heard in the meeting today, that AT&T has plans on building another, or spending another $14 billion next year on top of the $20 billion they already had budgeted. That's a lot of money.